also go by Jolly Rot, though it's a bit of a nickname. I am an artist, an avid horror movie fan, and a writer. I'm a sucker for a really good villain.
My name is Patrick. I am what you would consider a horror movie enthusiast. I've also done horror short films in the early 1990s, including the first known Halloween fan films.
So my first horror movie experience wasn't exactly a horror movie. It was a horror comedy. It was Beetlejuice.
Attention Kmart shoppers. I'm back. You want somebody out of the house? I want to get somebody out here. But I want out. For good.
I want Beetlejuice out of the picture. You guys really are dead.
I saw that about when I was 11 or 10 years old, and I remember I was so pissed when I found out that Beetlejuice wasn't real. I called his name 3 times and he didn't show. Santa Claus, I could give a crap less. But Beetlejuice, yeah, I was a little sad when he didn't show up in my living room.
Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice.
It's showtime.
1975, when Jaws came out.
Slow ahead. I can go slow ahead. Come on down and chum some of this shit.
My parents took us to the drive-in movies. And I'm back there, you know, in the back, and the popcorn's flying everywhere, and there's blankets and freaking Dr. Pepper and stuff like that. And I remember watching this movie at 5 years old and seeing that leg kind of just come down into frame. After the sailing instructor or the boat instructor got killed by the shark. As a kid, 5 years old, 1975, on a big drive-in screen, it sucked me in.
Well, you son of a...
I'm gonna have to say that it's dun 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 dun! Leatherface, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. When I saw it, I was like freaked out, but in a good way. And there's something about the pretty lady look that I just adore.
I gotta tell you, all my chips are on the table and everything goes to Halloween.
You can't kill the boogeyman.
Get in there, come on, Tommy. Now lock the door.
There's something about the fashions and the cars, the music. It's very 70s. The score that John Carpenter did was fantastic, and it's just the simplicity of it, of the story, of the killer, Michael Myers, the mask.
It's a tough one, but I'm gonna go with Highway to Hell with Chad Lowe and Kristy Swanson.
It's the cop from hell! He'll kill us both, damn it! Come on, look, what kind of cop could do that?
When I saw it, I just thought it was nuts. Essentially, the quick end of it is a couple's going to get married in Las Vegas. They make a wrong turn and they get caught by a character called Hell Cop. Kristy Swanson gets taken and Chad Lowe has to save her, but she's in hell. And everything they do in hell is just nuts. The road is paved with good intentions and it shows people jumping into like a cement mixer. I don't even know what it is.
Please form an orderly line. Stay in line and keep your complaints to a minimum. Keep your excuses to yourself.
If you watch it, if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it.
No one pays.
I think one of the most underrated horror movies, and it's from the 1980s, but it's called The Stepfather. This movie stars Terry O'Quinn, who comes across as absolute psychotic in the movie as a stepfather who's married to this woman, and he's a stepfather to this girl. It's very low budget. It's actually amusing, and it's not supposed to be. It's not a horror comedy. It's supposed to be very serious, but it's actually amusing the way it comes across. The moment you irritate this guy, I mean, the slightest little thing, he just snaps.
Hi, pumpkin.
Steph, it's over.
And he kills his family, and he starts all over again.
Please, somebody help me!
So I have to admit that I like all the classic zombie films, you know, Night of the Living Dead, etc., etc. But there's something scary about a zombie running full speed at you and knowing that you are going to tire out at some point. Quarantine. It's when you go through this whole crazy maze and she's stuck in this like building with no way to escape, and she goes down into the basement. You're already on edge. You know that there's these zombie things out to get you around any corner, and then she goes to the basement and she sees this like emaciated, like skinny old man who's standing in the corner, and you're like, dear God, do not turn around. And it's one of those moments where you're sitting there watching it saying, thank God I'm not there.
Night of the Living Dead. Original black and white, George Romero. I love it. Yeah, sure, it started all the other zombie movies, but it's great. The ending of the movie was mind-blowing. It was just like, holy shit. This poor guy survived the entire night, sole survivor. Everyone in the house got killed. He got either blown up or eaten by zombies, or taken by zombies, or stabbed by zombies. This guy just, he wakes up and it's morning, and he's just like, I lived through this. I survived. And these hillbillies are out there with their shotguns or rifles, and they're looking at this farmhouse, and they just see a movement in the window, and they just decide, that's a zombie. Let's just take a shot at him. And there was no build-up, there was no fanfare, there was no, it was just like he's looking out, like, oh my God, this horror, this nightmare's over, and I survived.
Right between the eyes.
And boom, like that was it. Shot, ground. I remember the first time watching that movie, it was just like, this is so sick. This is so wrong, and it's so brilliant to have an ending like that. And it just immediately cut the ending credits. This is what a horror movie is. The hero does not need to survive every single movie. I know Hollywood likes to do that, but that's what I love about this movie, is because the hero, and it was unexpected, and it just made you feel like there's a lot more to tell at the end of this movie.
Let's go with something a little different. So, Terror Train. It's with Jamie Lee Curtis after she did Halloween. And essentially, it's a New Year's Eve party for all the students. and they slowly get massacred one by one. But the villain is dressed up in crazy party costumes.
Now we're talking. Whoops, easy, Jackson. Here we go, Eduardo. How's it? Hey, take it easy, man. What are you doing? Oh my God! No!
I just think it's absolutely nuts, and if you haven't seen it, you have to see it. So go and see it. Terror Train was the favorite movie, but let's do the favorite scene. That is going to be Nightmare on Elm Street. When I first saw in the dream world Freddy Krueger walking with his arms outstretched, and they're like 20 feet long, I was like, no. I think 80s movie effects, I'm a huge fan of just old movie effects. Like, I'm not a big CGI fan. So, when I saw that, I was hooked.
Please, God.
This is God.
Welcome to Fright Night.
Now, we wouldn't want to wake your mother, would we, Charlie? Then I'd have to kill her, too. Right up!
Chris Sarandon just nailed the part.
Hello, Charlie.
I grew up, it was my teenage years in the 1980s, and when I watch Fright Night, the clothes they're wearing, the music, not just the score, but the club music, it is just incredible, that whole sequence.
This madness starts burning, the victim of a strange desire.
What I love about that movie so much is that because at the time, vampires were still the bad guys, they were still ugly, and they still had to be stopped.
You have to have faith for that to work, Mr. Vincent.
The Taking of Deborah Logan.
Our subject's physical and mental degradation over the course of 2 one-month periods.
We're gonna have fun, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I'm not interested in being exploited.
It gave us all quite a fright with your late-night gardening.
There is something about The Taking of Deborah Logan that really creeps me the hell out. Daughter gets a group of like paranormal investigators, I think a demonologist, to go check up on her mother with Alzheimer's. And you just slowly see her progress further and further with her Alzheimer's, to the point where you start questioning whether she's actually sick or if she's possessed. And the absolute crescendo is towards the end of the movie, and I don't want to give it away, but I'm going to give it away, spoiler alert. She's holding a child and her jaw like bisects like a snake and it comes apart about a foot and she's about to devour this child's head. And I was like, oh my God!
And you know what it is? It should be everybody else's favorite, I don't know, is The Exorcist.
And the Holy Spirit, by this sign of the Holy Cross of our Lord Jesus Christ, who lives and reigns with the Father and the Holy Spirit. Damien!
The Exorcist is the ultimate demonic movie out of the 70s, and it is just phenomenal. It used to scare the living shit out of me. When I watched it as a kid, when I walked into my parents' living room, when they were watching the broadcast premiere on TV in the 70s. I remember the scene where Regan was just doing these devil sit-ups in her bed. My parents were watching, and my mom was rushing over to me, and she goes, "Oh, no, you shouldn't be watching this. You should go back to your room." And I was just kind of like, "No, wait, let let me look at this first, you know? I mean, I was, as a kid, I vividly remember seeing that on the television.
Keep away! The sow is mine!
I mean, people were going nuts and throwing up and having security guards and walking out of the theater.
Pardon for all my sins. And the power to confront this.
If you can't guess, Nosferatu. Besides the fact that F.W. Murnau is kind of a highway robber and stole Bram Stoker's novel under his nose, that's pretty cool. But my favorite thing about it is Count Orlok himself. You do a lot of vampires that are highly romanticized and everybody thinks they're sexy. The thing with Count Orlok is that he's a complete monster. He has bubonic plague rats, he kills everyone in the town, and he's horrifying. The best scene, I think, in the movie, which is hard to say because there are so many good scenes, but my favorite one is also the most iconic, and that is when Count Orlok is walking up the stairs and all you see is his shadow and his claw, and he's walking into her bedroom, and you see his hand extend in the shadow, he grips her heart, and she sits upright and moves her neck to the side. That whole scene is incredible. It's incredible to me to see what they did in the 1920s. So, yay for 1920s horror!
My favorite, I'm sorry, probably bores the living hell out of people, but it is the 1931 Dracula Bela Lugosi.
I am Dracula.
It is my favorite vampire movie. This guy, the way he just... and what he would do with his hand, you know, it's like, I love Dracula, the atmosphere, the film grain, the feeling of a true vampire story. My favorite scene is when Dracula, Bela Lugosi, confronts Van Helsing. I just love that whole sequence. You know, Dracula just walks in there like he owns the whole place, and it's just like, now that you've learned what you have learned, and it's just he just takes control of the situation, and Van Helsing is like oh, I got something in my coat, and you know, and Dracula is just like, oh, more Wolfbane, you know, and it's like, oh, much more powerful than Wolfbane, Count.
Come here.
The first one I ever saw was actually Creepshow 2. And the part that scared me the most was the story where the group of friends went swimming in the lake and are having a great old time until something that looked like a thing of tar or some kind of swamp plant or something was moving around in the water. Little did they know that it was a pile of acidic ooze, an alien or some sort, that had sentient life, and it was slowly killing them off. And no matter how fast they swam, no matter how much they stayed on that raft, it was coming after them. And it was in the very end when you realize there's absolutely no escape, not even on shore.
I beat you!
My favorite horror anthology movie would have to be Trick or Treat.
This is the one night.
Don't forget your costume.
All sorts of things roam free.
The Halloween School Bus Massacre.
Be quiet.
Why?
You'll bother the neighbors.
yours.
Okay.
I love all the parts of this anthology. My favorite is with the old man and the shotgun. I love that whole sequence of the kids getting revenge on the school bus driver, which is him.
The Witch.
Boo! There you are. Boo!
I gotta say that it was, and still is, my favorite. I think the reason why I liked it is because it seemed so steeped in realism. It seemed that it was a story that could actually really happen. Everything was so visceral and terrifying, and just, you got the feeling of how alone they were out in the woods when the baby started disappearing, when the kids started going crazy. They had no help. The only help they had was their own. Black Phillip. That's all I'm gonna say. Just everything with Black Phillip, the goat.
You should stop that!
Witch horror movies. Witch, not witch, but witch. W-I-T-T-C-H, witch.
I can see you.
I'm real excited about this. Thank you for
I'm
the
very
opportunity.
glad. Because we're making a documentary.
Not about us getting lost. We're making a documentary about a witch.
No, I know we're not lost.
Please.
So how do we know it was people?
Well, even if it wasn't, I'm not gonna play with that either.
Just want to apologize to Mike's mom and Josh's mom and my mom.
Tell me where you are, John!
The Blair Witch Project. These three college students were just turning on each other. It seemed very real to me because it was ad-libbed. It was not scripted at all. They were able to just kind of put all their emotions into it and just act crazy. I just loved how the paranoia and turning against each other was just building up. Just really my favorite parts of the movie.
We're in the middle of the goddamn woods. We could walk anyway. We're going this way because that's the way we've been going for a fucking day. We're going this way and that's it. We gotta come across something. I gave you back the map, Heather.
I gave you the map.
I gave you back the map.
Is there really any other one besides The Shining?
I can't get out.
Little pigs, let me come in. Not by the hair on your chinny chin chin. Then I'll huff, and I'll puff, and I'll blow your house in.
My favorite Stephen King movie is The Shining. That 1980 Jack Nicholson. I love it, love every part of it. Hell, like I'm even dressed in that way right now, you know what I mean? So
here's Johnny.
There's something super creepy about a family who goes to a haunted hotel, is stuck up there, trapped during winter, and all the cabin fever setting in. I love a good ghost story. And the fact that there's ghosts, and the fact that it takes place like what, the 1920s, 1930s with all the ghosts, yeah. I like the 1920s and the 1930s.
I just love the way Jack Nicholson just nails the part, and it's just like, you know, you're distracting me.
You're distracting me, and it will then take me time to get back to where I was. Understand?
Yeah?
Fine. And we're gonna make a new rule. Whenever I'm in here, you hear me typing. Whether you don't hear me typing, what the fuck you hear me doing in here, when I'm in here, that means that I am working. That means don't come in. How do you think you can handle that?
I absolutely love The Shining. I love both the TV show and I love both the movie. Can't say I have a favorite one. I like them both equally for different reasons.
There you are, Doc. Been looking for you.
That rage and that energy that Jack Nicholson just, he just resonates. This anger and just like this tempest inside of him.
You've had your whole fucking life to think things over. What good's a few minutes more gonna do you now?
Stay away from me. Please. Don't hurt me.
I'm not gonna hurt you.
Stay away from me.
Wendy.
Stay away.
Darling, light of my life. I'm not gonna hurt you. You didn't let me finish my sentence. I said, I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm just gonna bash your brains in. I'm gonna bash them right the fuck in.
I'm gonna have to go with American Werewolf in London. I'd seen bits and parts of it, I think, on the Sci-Fi Channel and things like that, but I just really loved it. I thought it was great how the two friends were backpacking in Europe and they came across something super nasty.
Isn't this fun? It's in front of us. You think it's a dog? Oh, shit. What is it?
Back to the 80s, it showed us special effects that we'd never seen before.
Help me! Please! Help me!
Brain scan. So in this movie, Edward Furlong is kind of a slouch layabout, just young kid who doesn't really do anything. His dad's rich and he's just lazy. Anyways, he's into video games, especially horror movie video games. And he gets this particular game in which he invokes a demon named Trickster. Trickster shows him how to play this game. Essentially, this game goes around where you are the serial killer and you have to go around and kill people. Little does he know that the game is actually real and that he is actually killing people in real time. The reason why I like it is because it's a good plot line. It's super weird and I haven't seen anyone do anything like that before. And the fact that Trickster is just so damn cool.
Please allow me to introduce myself. My name is Trickster. Where were we?
The 90s had a different feeling for horror movies than the 70s and 80s. The 90s had kind of like this sort of Buffy the Vampire Slayer feeling. One of them was that kind of set that pattern was Scream.
Hello?
Hello.
Who is this?
You tell me your name, I'll tell you mine.
It was one of those movies where the pacing was incredible. It got away from, the gritty, grainy horror movies of the 70s and 80s. It had characters that we could all relate to.
You like scary movies?
Uh-huh.
You never told me your name.
Why do you want to know my name?
I want to know who I'm looking at.
Scream is the 90s horror movie of that era.
I am actually going to go with 13 Ghosts.
Think about what you're saying. There's no such thing as ghosts.
The movie itself was decent. But the thing that I liked the most about it was the incredible special effects makeup they did for that movie. Like I said before, I am a huge sucker for special effects makeup. Like the old school stuff where you actually have to put on appliances and makeup. Not the CGI stuff. I don't really like the CGI stuff. But there is 13 incredible ghosts to look at, and every single one of them are super cool to look at.
The pilgrims. The great child and the dire mother. The hammer. The jackal. And the juggernaut.
My favorite Alien movie is Alien.
Where's Earth?
Seems we have intercepted a transmission of unknown origin.
Human.
Unknown.
Can you see this?
I've never seen anything like it.
What the hell is that?
I saw it in the theater. I think I was about 9. And that scene with the chest buster that just rips out of Kane's chest, I don't think anyone has seen that in a horror movie before. Nonetheless, a science fiction horror movie.
Oh, God!
There's a lot of good Alien movies. I am going to go with John Carpenter's The Thing.
I know I'm human. Some of you are still human. This thing doesn't want to show itself. It wants to hide inside an imitation.
You guys gonna listen to Gary? He can be one of those things!
I saw the original one, and the original one was good, but there was something so incredibly terrifying about this movie. Again, sucker for the special effects. There was an incredible amount of special effects. I was absolutely impressed. There was something far more impressive about special effects makeup than just, CGI. The scene with the Huskies, that was always hard to watch.
All Hallows Eve. So that is the original film before Terrifier came out that features Art the Clown.
Some creep slipped a videotape into Timmy's candy bag while we were trick-or-treating.
A videotape?
You should see what's on it.
Hey, what are you doing?
I'm turning it off. It's too violent for the two of you.
If you can't tell, I have an enormous, almost unhealthy obsession with clowns. So when I tell you that my favorite evil clown has to be Art the Clown from All Hallows Eve, you'll know I know what I'm talking about.
Please! The killer's out here!
Frightening, very eerie, very scary.
You got him on?
So when I first saw Art the Clown, he was creepy in his own right by just grinning at these girls the whole time. But when he's, spoiler alert, grinning like a freaking madman, sawing into a body while staring at the girls, that's when I felt really uncomfortable. And I mean, I was just kind of feeling disturbed by it. And for that, I applaud Damien Leone, because that was an incredible scene and an incredible character. I will truly never forget Art the Clown, because he is the only clown that has ever disturbed me.
Michael years. It's just the knife, the mask, the coveralls, the way he walks, the way he stalks. It's when the guy's just walking. He's just walking. He's just, walking with his knife. And he's just like, I'm looking at you, I'm looking at you, I'm looking at you in your classroom.
Day of reckoning with yourself. The idea is that destiny is a very real, concrete thing.
Keep running, I'll catch up to you. I'm right here. You don't see me, but then you do see me. Silent. No words. Just blank face. Class. Class.
I am going to have to go with Pinhead. Everything about Pinhead is, can I just say hot? Is that weird? Doug Bradley is, I think, an incredible actor, and he really shined in the third movie. The first two movies, he wasn't in it much, which was a little disappointing. But the third one, you were able to see Doug Bradley as Pinhead, and you were able to see Doug Bradley out of makeup. And that in itself was an incredible storyline. My favorite scene is actually in Hellraiser 3, and that is when Pinhead is inside the church, acting very blasphemous, by feeding his flesh, like the body of Christ, to the priest, and then acting like he is crucified. Yeah, that is pretty devilish in its own right. It's in a way of kind of poking fun of the Christian and Catholic religions. It's the epitome of kind of, I think, what Pinhead actually is.
This is my body. This is my blood. Happy are they who come to my supper.
So, yeah, I would say the best villain has got to be Pinhead. There is absolutely everything good about him. He looks cool, he's funny as hell.
I am the way.
That is why I won't do 2 shows a night anymore, babe. I won't do it.
Ah!